welcome to Where's Wilmington? I'm Lisa Capalla, and today I'm going to introduce you to a couple of our staff members here at WCTV. You may have met them if you've come down and taken a tour. You may have actually seen them out in the community. So my first guest for today's program is Brandon Shorey, and he is our Youth Outreach Coordinator. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good to have you here. So let's talk a little bit about how you came to WCTV before we talk about what you actually do here, Brandon.
Okay. I went to school for video production. I worked several summers at a sports camp. It's for younger kids between the ages of 8 and 15, and I've got experience teaching them video. And then I moved down here to Boston originally. I was looking for jobs, and then the Youth Outreach Coordinator came up. Cool. So I applied for it, and I teach kids video.
Excellent.
Yes.
Now you're from Maine originally, actually,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
The frozen
and
tundra.
you went to Franklin Pierce College, right?
Yep, it's in New Hampshire.
Excellent. What was your major there? Did you have a double major or a major and a minor? What did you study?
I had a major in video production, but a dual concentration in media studies and media production.
Excellent.
Yes.
How long did it take you after you got out of school to find your first job?
It took about 4 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Were you looking for something specific, or was the market just difficult? Or?
It was, well, I stayed in Maine for about a year and a half, and the job market for video production jobs in Maine are few and far between.
Right.
And my cousin actually went to Newbury College, and he said, hey, why don't you come down to Boston and try your luck?
Excellent.
I moved down here, and then within 2 years later.
Good.
So.
It's too bad Stephen King wasn't looking for somebody in Maine. You could have worked on his stuff.
That's
too,
true.
right?
I did play on his baseball field, though.
Excellent. So you've been here a little bit over a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about what the Youth Outreach Coordinator position entails, and then we'll talk about some of the programs we have here.
Okay. Well, what I do is I'll go to the schools in the area. I go to the middle school, the north, and the west, and we run after-school video activities. I have a whole syllabus of projects for the kids to choose from. That's what we do at the beginning of the year. They'll lay out which programs they want to do. And then over the course of the year, we touch upon each one of them. They could be anywhere from just interviews or black and white videos. They do random projects. They do infomercials, PSAs. Yeah, it's.
Now, what are the age ranges of most of the kids that you work with?
The middle school is, I believe, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And the north and the west are 4th and 5th graders.
Okay. How excited are they when they find out that they're going to get to do TV? They must love it.
Yeah, they're really excited. The west and the north especially, because they get nervous because it's going to be on TV. Oh my God! Because in the classroom watching them, that's okay. But then they realize, I say, yeah, it's going to be online. It's going to be on television, and they kind of, oh.
Right. They get a little nervous.
Yeah, it is a little overwhelming for them at first, which is why we'll start doing smaller projects as far as interviews and stuff, just so they can get used to the cameras, used to being on camera and seeing themselves, and then they're getting a lot better and more comfortable.
Excellent. Now, do you have some kids that definitely want to be behind the scenes and other kids that definitely want to be talent? Are you able to tell when you start meeting with them who's going to probably pick what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually within the first week or two, you can see, because there's always one person that says, well, I'll write everything down, which means they kind of like doing the pre-production stuff, the planning stuff.
Right.
You'll have one person that will jump out and say, ooh, I want to be camera, or how about you add these effects in there, can you do this and that? And then you kind of distinguish between who likes what, and then,
Right.
Yeah.
So you can tell which one's going to be more oriented towards the technical aspect, who might be better as the talent, and who might be the writer.
Yeah.
Excellent. What kind of projects have they completed in the year and a half that you've been with us? I know you did a lot of stuff last year.
We went through just about all of the entire syllabus last year at the middle school.
Right.
And then this year I was approached by the two principals at the north and the west, and they said, hey, we like your program so much, can you expand it to our schools? And we sat down and we did that, and it's basically the same program for all three schools, but at the west and the north this year, they want to do an end of the year video. And what that'll do is the kids have filmed stuff through the course of this year and are still doing so. And we'll take those kids that are more inclined or want to do video editing. I'll sit down with them and then we can piece together the little highlight video.
Wow. How do you scale down what editing is to make it work for students that age? Because I know from working here and seeing projects being edited, even learning editing myself, it's not difficult, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
So how do you really make it small enough so that they can accomplish things and feel like they've done a great job? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, you start with the basics. You don't try to.
You don't want to go
overwhelm
in
them.
and film the 10 Commandments in a week. I understand.
Right, and that's why I start them out with a couple small projects, and I kind of stress to them the part about scripting and storyboarding. Storyboarding is, these are the shots that you're going to use. Make sure you stick to those shots.
Right.
And like I said, you try to keep it as basic as possible, so when they do get in and they edit, they'll only have a certain selection of shots to choose from. So they'll have, okay, this is a good shot, this is a good shot, this is a good shot. And before they know it, they already have 30 seconds done, and they feel accomplished and everything. And if there's something minute, then I just brush it up afterwards.
How are they as far as working together as a team? Because I know from being here and having a crew, you know, there's got to be a lot of communication between the people who do the storyboarding and the writing and the talent and the people who are camera. How do you get them all to work together?
Well, thankfully, there's an equal number of boys and girls. So the boys usually work with the boys and the girls usually work with the girls. There is a grade barrier between the 4th and the 5th graders. The 5th graders will work with the 5th graders and the 4th graders will work with the 4th graders.
Right.
It's no like bad blood or anything. They just feel more comfortable.
Right.
But they mesh together.
That's got to be a challenge for you, because I know they must get so excited that they get kind of rambunctious, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep the lid on it, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
What projects have they completed that you really felt that you liked the most, that you were surprised that it came out as good as it did?
They actually had just got done having a kindness week, the North and the West. And the West, they went around and they interviewed probably 60 people, maybe even 70 different students. Not the same student, but there's just 70 different students. They interviewed them in classrooms and hallways and on recess and all kinds of different areas. And they pieced it together. Well, I helped them edit it together, but just the fact that they were able to produce something that was 10 minutes long and have it presented in front of the entire school in about a week and a half.
Wow.
And over in the North, there's a smaller group over in the North. There's about 8 kids. But they produced, I think it was a 6 or 7 minute video in less than a week.
That's really good.
So that's really, really good for kids those age to produce something like that. I was very impressed.
Yeah, and I imagine the goal is to help these kids to transition into volunteering or even, you know, becoming staff or what have you here at WCTV. The goal is to get them to go out into the community and film more things that are covered in the town, right?
And yes, that is the ultimate goal.
Right.
And at the West, before we even did this recent project, they said that their principal, sorry, not the West, but the North, they had a presentation where their principal was playing the guitar, and a couple of the students approached me and said, "Hey, Mr. Ferrier is playing guitar. We would like to film it. Can we make a show out of it?"
Nice.
And I said, "Absolutely." So we're already getting up to where
So they're already thinking outside of the classroom as to what they can do. That's excellent. That is really good.
I have a list of what upcoming events, hopefully, that they'll be able to film. And tomorrow is Patriots Day, because they're going to be in the Super Bowl, and both schools will be having, well, Patriots Day, and they're going to be dressed up and they have these big celebrations or something. So I'm hoping that the kids will film bits and pieces and snippets. And
Okay. Now, as far as the equipment that you bring to the schools, do you bring everything there to the classroom itself, or do they already have the equipment there for you? How does that work?
We've got these little red cameras. They're fit perfectly for kids those age, and we have, I think, 4 of them in circulation at both schools. And they do film on a flip camera just in case if the cameras that we have are unavailable or something. But they always have a camera so they can film.
So you bring
freely.
the cameras to them. The schools don't have the cameras there. And then you bring the footage back here and edit it here, or do you do that with them there in their labs? How does that work?
What I do is for the projects, I'll leave a list of stuff that they want in their projects and how they want to see edited, any audio. So essentially they make the projects, or they outline everything in their projects, and I just make their vision.
Excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah.
What other things are you doing here at WCTV other than the school programs? I know there are 2 or 3 things. We have camps that we do, and we also have something called Studio Playhouse 10.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Saturday Playhouse 10 it's every other Saturday right here at the station. It's by kids for kids.
Nice.
It's run by Megan and I.
Megan Ryan.
Megan Ryan,
who's on
sorry.
staff here. Yeah.
Yes. She's the other youth outreach coordinator. And the kids will come in, and just about every episode has a theme. Like since we're in February now, we're probably going to have a Valentine's Day theme. That's my guess. But the kids will be able to choose it. And we have a variety of different activities or sections of the show. It can be anywhere between science experiments or arts and crafts or smart snacks. There's a talent section. It's just, list goes on. And the kids choose what they want. They put together each section, and then Megan and I just basically host it and make it happen.
And we put it on the air, which is really great.
Put it on the air.
And that is open to Wilmington residents.
Yep.
What age groups?
It's 8 to 13.
Okay.
And if you are over 13, don't be afraid, because you can come here and help as far as being
Excellent. So being camera or behind the scenes.
Yes.
If parents were interested in getting their children involved, how would they do that?
They would just contact WCTV either by Facebook or email, or even just call, and Megan or I will give you more information about it.
Okay, and they would sign up as members and sign their children up and go from there. All
Absolutely.
Right. What would you like to see for programs if you had the sky's the limit? What would you want to create? What would you like to see here at WCTV?
Sky's the limit.
Would you like to expand the school programs more and include the high school kids as well? Or do you feel like we need more programming for kids? I would personally like to see someone at the high school level come and do a show. I would really like to see that.
That would be great.
What would you like to see?
I would like to see maybe a group of high school kids maybe come in and do like a high school sports section.
Oh, right.
I do know that we have sports for them, but that bounces around between the Celtics and the Red Sox and everything.
And that's also hosted by adults.
Correct.
It'd be nice to have some teens.
And get their
get the input
on,
from the youth. That would be really good.
as far as Wilmington athletics.
Okay. And when you were a kid, how did you know you wanted to go into video editing or into this particular field? How did you decide to do that? The reason I'm asking you that is because I'm thinking of parents that may have children that are creative and they don't know what avenue for them to pursue. So I'm interested to know how you knew that's what you wanted to do.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't know until my second year of college, when my roommate was taking an intro to production class, and he said, "Hey, can you be my actor? I need to do this silly little project." I can't remember what it was. And I said, "Sure, why not?" And just what we were able to do and just the ridiculousness of the project, I was like, this is kind of cool. So we just went from there. I started taking more classes, and I really liked editing and the production values, and
excellent.
thus
so it was fun, and you
Yes.
thought, I can make money doing this, and this is pretty fun, and
Yeah.
so your career was born.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on
Oh,
Where's
thank you for
Wilmington.
having me.
Stay right there. We're going to have Amanda Geldof next on our second segment here on Where's Wilmington. She handles all the PR for WCTV. She's newest here on our staff, and she's actually from Kansas. So we're going to talk a little bit about her transition and how she came here to WCTV. Stay right there. We'll be back with more of Where's Wilmington right after this.
Welcome to Fogel's.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You expect options everywhere else. Why not with your medical treatment? Talk with your doctor to explore all your options and find what's right for you. Visit ahrq.gov.
Hello, welcome back. You're watching Where's Wilmington here on WCTV. I'm Lisa Capalla, and this is the second segment of our show today, and I am talking with Amanda Geldof. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Hello. She is our public relations coordinator here at WCTV. So, as I did with Brandon before we talk about what you do here, tell us how you ended up coming to WCTV. And your story is a little bit longer than Brandon's. You come from much further away.
Yes, I actually hail from Kansas, go KU. Graduated from the School of Journalism, William Allen White, Mass Communications. Moved out here because my husband has a job at Tufts University as a research psychologist. And while searching for the job in the ever elusive economy that we have right now,
Right.
I decided to volunteer somewhere just to kind of take up some time, and did a little bit of research, and I just really loved what WCTV was doing. Decided I wanted to become a part of it and came up to volunteer. Shortly after that, I found myself sitting at a desk with a job.
Awesome. And so here you are.
Exactly.
You've been here how long now? I want to say 6 months?
6 months
already?
exactly.
Okay, excellent. So tell me a little bit about what's different from Kansas to here, first of all, before we talk about what you do here. I'm curious to see what you feel the differences are between your part of the country and ours.
Well, I was actually expecting a lot of weather differences, but there's not a whole lot of weather difference. The temperatures have been about the same. I have not experienced a whole lot of snow yet. Obviously, we're having a mild winter.
Right.
We
Stick
were,
around. That'll change.
We were very excited to see our first hurricane.
Cool.
Which was, from our perspective, pretty uneventful. Probably a good thing.
Right. Have you seen any of the local sites? Have you been to Boston yet to see anything?
Yes, we walked the Freedom Trail. We've actually done a lot. There's a lot to do here. We went crabbing one day. That was interesting. Caught a lobster.
Nice. Nice.
We've seen a lot of the monuments. We went up to Plymouth Rock as well. We figured take in as much as we can while we're here.
Right. So now, before you came here, you had never been to the Boston area before, right?
Correct.
So that's kind of neat. When you read about all this history growing up, we take it for granted because we live right here. And, you know, when we study all of the things about the Boston Tea Party and all that, that's right here. And I know you have a little son. He's
Yes.
5, right, Johnny?
Yes, he's 5. Hi, Johnny.
So when he got to see all of these things that he had heard about, what was his reaction to it?
I think he likes the size of the monuments here.
Right.
Something for him to climb on and look up at. I think he's a little too young to really take in what it means yet.
Right.
Because he's just starting in kindergarten at Wildwood, which he loves.
Good.
But he hasn't had too much of a chance to get into the history of our country yet.
Right.
So we're taking the opportunity to try and explain to him who Paul Revere was, and so he can see the house, he can see where he's buried, he can see all of this stuff. And hopefully when he actually reaches that in school, it'll mean a little bit more to him.
Excellent. So you are the public relations coordinator here, and you also work with the town crier as well, which we'll get into in a second. Tell me a little bit about what public relations is before we talk about what you've been doing for WCTV.
Public relations is a field where we pretty much just take a business or organization and we create a public face for it. It's how the community and how viewers see that organization. So hopefully it's a good image and they start relating it with good things that they in turn want to re-experience. Oftentimes.
So is it almost like the concept of branding? Like you kind of want your name to represent a certain thing. When you think of WCTV, you should think of community or fellowship or what have you. So you're trying to help us formulate that and make it a little stronger?
Exactly. That's the biggest portion of what we do. Another part of what we do is trying to bring bodies in the door.
Right.
So increasing membership and all of that is secondary to what people think and the branding and the...
Right. And also you're working a lot with social media too, so that everyone can have access to WCTV. So maybe you're not just watching it on television, maybe you're watching it online or you're keeping in touch through Facebook or Twitter or all of those different social utilities, as you call them.
Yes, that's actually a big part of journalism in general. You can either do the news and info, which is reporting and television, and then there's the PR side. Both of them are delving into the field of the internet and trying to take advantage of all of the opportunities that it provides, such as networking with people that you may not have ever met in your life, or may not have even known that WCTV existed without Facebook, Twitter, blogs, Pinterest, Wikipedia, Google.
Right.
And it's a whole new art form that we're trying to pioneer.
In your opinion, do you feel there are too many avenues of social media, or do you feel we need more? I personally feel like we're kind of overloaded. I feel like there's too much. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a system that takes care of itself. So if it does start overloading and people are tired of one or the other, then certain sites are going to start dying out while new ones pop up. It's the world of innovation. That's the world we live in.
Right. So whatever ends up being the strongest or the most easy to use or what have you, that's what people will stick with. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I find like every other day something else is coming up. It was MySpace originally. Now Facebook has kind of overshadowed that, you know, and even all the search engines, Yahoo and Ask.com, which used to be Ask Jeeves, and now that has changed too. So how do you keep up with the trends? How do you keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on out there?
Well, in the journalism field, you really have to do your research. You have to be a news junkie. You have to be an internet junkie. So constantly reading the news, listening to NPR, digging around on the internet. So that's one reason I love my job. I get paid to surf on the internet.
Right.
But just finding out exactly what the biggest, newest, boldest, prettiest thing is and trying to dive into it. But you also have to take advantage of a lot of the more traditional
Avenues, if you
formats,
will,
avenues,
right?
yeah. Of
As far as the social media goes, have you been able to pick trend-setting wise what you think is going to be the be-all, end-all? What I mean is, as a DJ, which I do part-time, I usually try to figure out what's going to be the top song. Do you do that? Do you try to figure out what's going to be the really cutting-edge story to cover? How do you pick what things you're going to use? Do you try to do any trend-setting or market research?
Market research, yes. I definitely get in and try and find out who my audience is, who the viewers of WCTV are, who's going to read my stories, who's going to be doing this, so that I can try and figure out how to reach those people on a personal level. And that's usually how I pick. I don't go for the trend-setting this, that, or the other unless I'm looking at a techie group.
Right.
If I'm looking at a bunch of school kids, then I'm going to try and find something that's a little more educational, that's a little more in their realm of vision, if you will. Every person has a very different aspect or view of what they think is good or great or cool, or I think they're saying wicked cool now.
Right, right. Welcome to Boston.
Yes.
Wicked cool.
And so I just try to take advantage of everything that I know of a person and try and put it all together and make as inclusive of a package as possible in order to reach as many people as possible.
Right. So you have to step into different people's lifestyles to figure out what they might want to hear, see, what might work, what might get their interest or pique them. That is pretty difficult to do. That's a lot of work to do.
It can be, but that's what market research is about, and you find out so much about people, and as long as you have a sense of, social aspects, then you can do a pretty good job. You just have to know how to do your research and how to reach your audience.
Okay. Now, the piece of what you do here, you're doing PR here, but it's a little different. You've been helping to schedule events and things out in the field. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about the things that you've been doing and some of the things that we have coming up?
Okay, excellent. At WCTV, this is our 25th anniversary this year, so we are playing a lot on that. We are trying to let everyone know that it's our birthday, but we don't want to just celebrate us. We want to celebrate the community. We want anyone who has a 25th anniversary of any sort coming up to come into WCTV and celebrate with us. So if it's your 25th wedding anniversary, come on in, let us know. We'll create a personalized announcement that we'll put on the community bulletin board. That way it's sharing with the community a shared experience.
Right.
If it's your 25th birthday, come on in. If your granddaughter is 25 days old, come on in. We'll take a beautiful picture, put it up there for you.
So that's what you're doing by doing that, is creating a sense of oneness between WCTV, the community, and the smaller pieces, the individuals. Okay.
Right.
And we did a pretty successful thing that you and I worked on together, the Santa breakfast. Tell folks about that.
Oh yes, we actually traditionally go into the Breakfast with Santa at the Knights of Columbus, and we will video all of the kids that come in and sit on Santa's lap.
Right.
So everyone gets to hear what they want for Christmas and how good they've been. And so we created a DVD out of that, along with a giant stocking, one for each session, that the kids could register to win.
Right.
And that was a big hit. We had a lot of people filling out the cards and bringing them back later, 3 days later. In fact, we still have some people picking up their free DVDs.
Right, and that was the point I wanted to make. We gave away, how many do you think? Maybe 30, 20, 50? I don't know.
I think we
DVDs?
made 40 copies,
Right.
and we've only got a very small handful left.
Right. So that was something that we did to reach out to the community, kind of a win-win, get them to come in and view the station. When so many people in the town have not been in here, I'm really surprised about that. And at the same time, they were able to get the footage of their child with Santa, which was pretty neat.
Right. I think that's a big advantage with WCTV is a lot of people will see what we do on the television, but they have no idea what kind of state-of-the-art equipment and facilities that we actually have here.
Right.
So when they come in and step in the door, they're like, oh, this is actually really nice.
Right.
And they're very surprised.
And even the staff between you and Brandon, myself, Bill, Robert, Sandra, Megan, a bunch of folks we have working here, some volunteers, Paul Hipple, I can't name everybody, Tom Pizzera, Jim Buckley, Bob Boyce, all those folks have so much experience in so many avenues of life. It's really, really a great place to come and learn many, many things, not just editing, not just camera work, but you know, between your background in PR and the rest of our backgrounds, we can pretty much help anyone create anything they want to create.
Oh, yes.
Really.
Yes.
Which is a great thing.
Any kind of show, fiction, nonfiction, interview. If you want to come in and make a mock music video, cool, come on in.
Right,
We would
right.
love to see that.
And so what projects are you working on for the future? I know you've got some things you're doing with the library and also Donations from the Heart too coming up, which actually by the time we air this may have been over, but we'll talk about it for next year too. So go right ahead.
Yes, Donations from the Heart is a food drive that we do at Market Basket in Wilmington. All of the food that we collect goes to the food pantry of Wilmington. That's coming up on February 11th from, I believe, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Right, and this is something we do every year.
Yes, this is something
usually
we do
the weekend before Valentine's Day, I think. Great.
as close to Valentine's Day as possible. Some other events that we have coming up are obviously updating our blog and trying to reach out through the social media and the website. For the 25th anniversary, we are also creating a slideshow or a video of some sort that's going to compare Wilmington and WCTV from 25 years ago to now.
That'll be exciting.
Yes.
That'll be great to see. All right, and let's talk a little bit now about what you do outside of WCTV, which is your work with the town crier. I really am interested in hearing about that. I know Jane Miller took over for Steve Bjorg, so now you're working with her. How did you come upon getting that job?
Actually, since most of my training has been in news and information within the journalism field, that's what I came here with the idea of doing, is I want to go out, I want to report on things, I want to know what's going on, and I want to tell everyone about it.
Right.
So I...
Also helps you get more familiar with the town, which is a win-win. It helps you here, and it also helps the community as well. It's really a nice marriage of the two separate organizations in the community. I think it's great that you are doing both things because one hand is washing the other there.
Yes.
What kinds of things have you been covering for the town crier?
Mostly government, but a lot of different things. This week in the paper there was actually a story about a Wilmington graduate who went to Southern New Hampshire University and was robbed. So that was a not fun story, but an interesting one to cover. So I got to interview somebody who is from Wilmington that's no longer here since I just came here. So I get a little bit of history with that, along with getting someone else's impression of the area.
Right.
I also get to interview people in the community that have nothing to do with the government or any official organizations, and that's another one. I get invited into a lot of people's homes.
Nice.
And I get to talk to them and see them on a personal level.
So that gives you a real sense of what the community is really about, rather than just a
Exactly.
broad-based historical view. You get the personal angle as well. How does it feel for you when you actually see what you've written on the front page? How's that feel?
Well, the first time you're like, yay! You get really excited because it's a big front page story that wears off after a while.
Right.
I still love very much what I do. I love to go talk to people and find out what's going on, and if it ever comes down to it, beat the bad guy.
Right.
But it's really going out, and it's about finding out what's going on. It's about telling the truth. It's about letting people know what's going on in their community more so than being on the front page anymore.
Right. I was just curious to see how that felt for you. And the first time I saw myself on television, although I was self-critical, I did feel that sort of wow, but you do sort of lose that over time.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like the viewers to know before we close today's program?
One other thing that I didn't mention when you asked me about a difference between Kansas and the East Coast, I was actually very surprised at how united this community is.
Really?
Yes. I know being from Kansas, there's a stereotype of, oh, it's all small towns and everyone knows everyone and everyone's so nice. And yes, that's true. But in Kansas, you have someone that you'll meet on the street that's very, very nice to you while you see them, but you'll never see them again. They'll never remember who you are.
Right.
But here, everyone is so close-knit and all about their community. And I even had my banker set up a savings account. He called me a week later because he knew I was looking for a job in journalism. Oh, I saw this ad in the paper, you have to give them a call and you have to do this and you have to do that. And he had I was
barely
like, who
knew
are
you,
you?
right?
Why are you calling me?
Wow. So that's a big difference. Well, that's
It
good
is.
to know that we're doing the right thing by our new residents here
It
in
is.
Wilmington. Well, I'm glad that you're on staff, and I know you're going to be doing a lot of great things. So look for Amanda's work here on WCTV. Also look for her in the Town Crier. And I would imagine if they have any ideas, either for WCTV or for the Town Crier, how would be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Best way is email, which is amanda@yourtowncrier.com, or Geldof, Geldhof @WCTV.org.
Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to see the many, many amazing upcoming projects you're working on, along with what Brandon's doing out in our community. And just want to remind you that you're watching Where's Wilmington? Next time someone asks you, where's Wilmington? You say right here and right here on WCTV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.